Once I won a championship, I realized that, like, yo, my view on this game is really about development. Like, how good can I be? It's not about, let's go get this championship. I appreciate that stuff, and I want to win and experience that stuff, but it's not the end all be all why I play the game.
All right, y'all, let's go. You know what, Stephen A., I think this topic should start with you. So KD says development drives him, not titles. Are you buying it, sir?
No, I'm not buying it. Not at this point in stage in his career. But I will give him credit for this. He has been consistent. So I'm certainly not going to call him a liar. I'm just not buying it. And the reason why I'm not buying it is from just a logical perspective. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I realized that my mic has slipped off. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my mic had slipped off.
We could hear you, Stephen A.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
I said I'm not buying it.
We still could hear you. You're good.
Okay, I said I'm not buying it, but I'll give him credit for his words being consistent with what he has said religiously. Here's what I would tell you. KD right now, from a logic perspective, and Max, you can appreciate this being the logical mind that you are. KD, to me, is one of the top 2 players on the planet Earth when he's healthy, if not number 1 overall. We can debate it, but I think he's that great. He's that electrifying. He's that spectacular. He's just the real deal. And so when you talk about developing, when he said he wanted to play the right way and play in a system that really worked for him and to develop and continue to develop his skill set, which is why he went to Golden State to begin with. That, you with a championship having evaded him to that point in his career, even though you recognize that he wanted to win a championship, you could also see the way Golden State played, their movement, particularly without the basketball, the way Steph moved around without the basketball, the way they passed and distributed the ball and displayed such an incredible level of unselfishness compared to what he was experiencing in Oklahoma City. Obviously, that was something that he wanted to do, and we all understood that, and that was going to lead to him ultimately winning a championship, which was what it was about. But KD did not pull a Russell Westbrook here, which brings me to what I said a couple of weeks ago. You see, Russell Westbrook, I don't know if y'all been watching this brother. This brother's sitting there dishing out dimes left and right, and you playing with a bunch of dudes that can't even convert layups. I mean, it was a sequence with 3 straight layups. I mean, spectacular passes on the part of Russell Westbrook. They couldn't even convert. You see what I'm saying? So my attitude is, why end up there? Why go to Washington? You wanted out of Houston, but you end up in a worse situation, which is the Washington Wizards, because all you got is Bradley Beal and nothing else. And so as a result of that, clearly for him, it doesn't appear to be about championships just because of the situation he's in. KD can't say that. You decided to go with Kyrie. You were pushing for James Harden to come there, which is why James Harden approached Tillman Fertitta and the Houston Rockets brass this summer and told them, or actually in the offseason, and told them once the bubble play was over, I want out. And so when you look at it from that perspective, KD had Kyrie, plus he had every intention on facilitating James Harden landing in Brooklyn as well, because Sean Marks and those boys pulled the trigger because they knew they had to, because that's what the hell Kevin Durant wanted, and they want to make sure they give Kevin Durant everything that he wants so he can ultimately elect to re-sign with them long term, because they never ever want to lose him in Brooklyn. This is KD's team. That's one of the reasons Kyrie stuff is being tolerated now, because that's his boy, and this is KD's team. Whatever KD wants, KD gets. KD wanted Steve Nash. KD wanted Kyrie. KD wanted James Harden, and that's why you have what you have. Those are not situations that are conducive to just playing the right way. You're trying to win. So I don't buy his comments completely. I understand it's important for him to play the right way and to do things right, but ultimately it's about closing the deal with KD. He knows that LeBron's got 4. He's only got 2. He should have had 3 last year. If he didn't tear his Achilles, he would have had a 3rd championship and a 3rd NBA Finals MVP, but it didn't work out that way. He pays attention to that stuff. He knows what the hell is going on, and I don't believe for 1 second that if they play the right way but they lose, that's okay with KD. He wants the chip.
I'm buying what KD is selling here. KD is an interesting guy, man. This is not KD years ago in OKC when he said, hey, there are more important things in life than rings. And that sounded like excuses back then. And of course, we all you imagine MJ or Kobe saying something like that. These guys were killers. And even then I thought, but you know what? KD is different. He's an interesting dude, always has been. He's not just like parroting what everyone else says. Stephen A., I talk about, and we've talked about how he seems to have thin skin, burner accounts on social media and getting into spats with celebrities and stuff like that. Literally saying he's going to spit on Michael Rappaport. But I said in a way, I've come to think of him in a way of like, why do you care what anyone thinks? Well, it seems like he respects people. It doesn't matter if you have a blue check mark by your social media or not. He gets into it with fans because they're people. And he respects people's, what they have to say, maybe too much in a way. So he's just an interesting guy. I think what he's saying here is not what he said years ago when it sounded to me like, it sounds a little bit like an excuse because you don't think you're going to win a championship. This sounds to me like something you might like even less, Stephen A. Trust the process. This dude is about process right now. I respect that. He's already got his championships. Now, I don't love the way he got them. He reverse engineered his greatness in terms of what a championship is supposed to mean because he joined a 73-win team that could not lose without him. Or even you don't even need KD to join that Warriors team to win. They could have just had a normal all-star join that team. They couldn't have lost. It was KD, right? No, but now he's got the championships. He's got the rings. It's almost like, okay, media and fans and everybody, I need these rings. Okay, I got those now. Now I want to get to what I think is important, which is his own development as a player. Now, I'm quite sure he believes that if he's advancing as a player and he has these guys with him, that he will win a championship. But to me, the way I hear this is I'm not focused on the result. I'm focused on the process. And that is, look, he's over 30 years old now. He's been around the world a million times, right? He's seen it all. He's talked to all different kinds of people and is reflecting the kind of wisdom, I think, here that comes with age and that kind of worldly experience. He's thinking about the process, what's in front of him, what he has to do right now. The results will come. I have no problem with this remark. And furthermore, I'm buying it.
Well, I don't have a problem with it either. I just don't believe it totally. I mean, the reality of the situation is you came to Brooklyn, New York. You passed up on going to the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. You're in the media capital of the world because Brooklyn is one of the 5 boroughs. We understand what it represents. You don't win the championship this year. If y'all are healthy and y'all are on the court and you don't win the chip this year, they ain't going to live it down. I can assure you of that. Times are going to be hard. You got media members watching them and stuff like that. People talk about them being a bit truculent and acerbic, unnecessarily so. Just bad attitudes, particularly when it comes to 2 of their 3 stars. James Harden is considered a person to be on his best behavior, and he's been a pleasure to deal with for the most part if you talk to some people. But certainly that hasn't been the case with KD and Kyrie. Not that they care, nor should they. But in the end, here's the bottom line. You got to close. You got to close the deal. And if you're healthy and on the court together and you don't win, I assure you, walking the streets of New York City won't be too damn easy for you. You can't walk around with an attitude like, this is about the process and it ain't about winning a chip. Not with this bomb squad you've assembled. Max Kellerman, you're on the record. This might be the greatest offense ever assembled. That's what you said.
Oh,
you
it is.
Can't,
it's going to be.
You can't. Well, I'm not. Again, we're not disputing it. You cannot have those kind of superlatives or those compliments aimed in your direction, and you don't close the deal. You can't. Not New York. You can get away with that on Oklahoma City. You can get away with that in Oklahoma City. You can get away with that maybe in San Francisco, not Oakland. Maybe in San Francisco. You cannot get away with that in Brooklyn, New York.
No.
I don't give a damn if it was Staten Island. You can't get away with nothing like that in New York. Excuse the
Brooklyn,
the grammatical
that's
incorrectness.
True.
You can't, the double negative, you can't get away with nothing like that. Not in Brooklyn.
Oh,
hell
right.
no.
You can't get away with nothing
no.
like that. The double negative is absolutely correct there. That's right. You can't get away with nothing like that in Brooklyn.
That's right.
Brooklyn's been waiting for a championship since the Dodgers left town in 1957. The last championship they got was 1955. And New York hasn't won a championship since 1973 in basketball. You're right about that. I don't think that's what KD is saying. I think he's on a different, his thinking has evolved. He's like, I think he believes that they will win the championship. That if he trusts the process, they will. I'm not saying, I don't think he's making excuses. He's like, look, this is where I am. I'm just trying, I've already won a championship. I'm just trying to get better. Could you imagine if KD, James Harden, and Kyrie get better? What do they? It's over. It's over.
And all I'm saying,
Stephen A.,
and all I'm
he's
saying-
focused on the journey, not the destination, okay, Stephen A.? It's about the journey. It's about
Sure.
growth.
Sure, but you got to close. You got to close.
They better win the
ABC,
championship.
always be closing. By the way, guys, one of the best gifts I ever gave, all of our former agent, Nick Khan, who's now with WWE, a friend of all of ours, I got him a big poster frame, matted, the whole thing for his office with ABC, always be closing, because that man certainly did. All right, we will leave it there. When we come back here on First Take, what is going on with Aaron Rodgers in the Packers? That is some wondering if he should get out of Green Bay immediately, if not sooner. Marcus Spears will join us. Okay, good to see Marcus.